All right, on Saturday, we got the UFC 229 card here in Las Vegas, the best and the biggest fight card of the year. It's headlined by Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Check out our main event breakdown that we did. Now it's time to focus on the co-main, which luckily, guys, stays within the same division. You know I love that reassurance for the main event. Stop talking, George, you're going to jinx it, but I love it because not only for that, but also I love it when fighters, great fighters, are on the same timeline. So that if they're both healthy, you know what? You grab those two winners or the two coming off a loss or whatever. You know, there's so many benefits to it. So I love having Ferguson and Anthony Pettis on this fight card. What I don't love is Tony Ferguson coming back from ACL injury from 5 months ago to fight this soon. But I'm using my sports knowledge from baseball and football and that's a 9-month injury, guys. You know, and even GSP, it happened to him a few times. It was always 9 months. Ferguson, though, is wired differently. Is he wired differently than GSP? I don't know. Those are both great fighters, but the fight's upon us, and Ferguson's minus 360. He's a considerable favorite over Anthony Pettis, who's looked good in his last couple fights. I know. He lost to Pettis, but I thought he looked good at certain times in that fight. And, of course, he's had his most recent win. He comes back at plus 270. So there you go. Those are all the information, you know, particulars about the fight, the data. Let's break it down, Goes. Who do you like?
That's the one thing that I cannot get over. We've seen high caliber athletes in every sport say how difficult it is that first time coming back, right? Whether it's on the pitch, whether it's on a football field, they all talk about the first day coming back. And he's got to do that in front of a lot of people in one of the biggest stages of all time. Anthony Pettis is no joke, and when he is 100% dialed in, he's a nightmare. I do not like Tony Ferguson coming back from this injury right now. I am actually going to go with Anthony Pettis.
Oh, wow.
I love the guy, man, but that's tough. It's tough for him to do that.
Dan Tom, is this guy a lunatic or what?
You know, not really. I mean, if you're going to take a shot against Ferguson, I mean, now's the time. Like you guys laid out, he's coming back from a really severe injury pretty soon. But I got to imagine the odds, like you said, George, are still favored for Ferguson. Not just obviously his body of work, but also, you know, you look at his training videos, as crazy as they may seem, he looks like he's got his mobility. It looks like he's ready to go. The weight's down. You know, his coaches are raving about how he's taking the preparation to a whole new level. But really, we just got to give Tony his due. You know, the main event for UFC 229 is a man who won a vacant title on a 10-fight UFC win streak versus a man who never lost his title in the cage. Well, the man of the co-main event, Tony Ferguson, can claim both, and I would argue has had the hardest road of any of the contenders that we want to call.
13-1, right? As a lightweight?
As a lightweight,
wow.
That's right. A split decision loss in a fight that he got a broken arm to in the first round. No discredit to his opponent in that fight, but yeah, Tony Ferguson's resume is impressive. Now he's got a risky style, makes it hard for people to back him, right? But he's a presenter, you know. It's like poker tables out here in Vegas. It's not always the best poker player that wins. It's the guy who presents that he has the best hand. So even when Tony's going for crazy submission guys or he's taking a punch, he does a good job of rolling with the things, having them happen on his terms. He has answers for a lot of really bad positions and doesn't seem to be coming up short with any answers anytime soon. So I'm going to pick Tony Ferguson. I think it's going to look like the Edson Barboza fight. I think Tony knows the operating space. Pettis way too dangerous to stand you know, at distance with, and Pettis can definitely tax him here, guys. Goes is not crazy at all, but I'm picking Tony Ferguson.
Man, he's 13-1 as a UFC lightweight, former interim champ, you know, never lost the belt in the octagon. I would say Ferguson all day, but I mean, you stole the thunder a little bit. I just think if you're going to pick against Ferguson, you look for those intangibles because skill set versus skill set, it's hard to ever go against them. But I think this time I think Pettis. I think Pettis is accurate with his punches, and I think Pettis knows the clock's ticking a little bit, even though he's still fairly young. But Duke Rufus had an interesting interview with us on MMA Junkie Radio, and this was going back about 12, 18 months ago, a conversation he had with Anthony Pettis, and he said, are we going to do this? Are we going to do this? And it seems like since then, Anthony Pettis has been doing this.
Yep.
So I got Pettis in the upset, and I don't think it'll diminish Ferguson at all. He's got an outstanding record. He can easily be right back in title talk, but I'm going with the upset as well. Anthony Pettis, and there you have it. That's the co-main event breakdown brought to you by the MMA Junkie Radio team.